Hmm. And I think that might be what a lot of, if you want to call us old heads, might be might be tough for a lot of old heads to wrap their heads around, right? Because again,
Oh yeah,
it was almost the opposite. What, growing up with the music, it's almost, it's just flipped, I guess,
yeah.
right? Where it
They're
was
looking for
like,
something different than what we were.
right, right.
Hmm.
Now, sometimes, because sometimes we would even, I mean, I talked about possibly, better production and stuff like that, but even something, it was like, you know, I think back, it was more about, it was almost being different was recognized as almost like, it was like, almost like a crown, like a badge of
Hmm.
honor, right?
Yeah.
If you were like, if Das Effects came out and then somebody else came out saying, like, they would, people be like, these guys
Frauds. Yeah.
sound like Das Effects, they're whack, they're trying to
Exactly.
sound like these guys, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Like
you
when they
couldn't,
called out
you couldn't,
Cube.
it would be like
Remember they called out?
Biter,
Yeah. When Cube started doing the Iggity
right?
on the Predator, what happened? He got called out.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
It's like, you
when
can't, it's like, you had to have your own sound, you can't
Yeah.
be on somebody else's sound. Now it's different. Like, what
it,
do you
Yeah,
think?
yo, people aren't calling each other out anymore. It's not like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's why, even though I'm so glad you brought up Designer earlier, Kwam. When he came out, everyone's like, "Oh, he's just Future." I mean, truthfully, he really was just another Future. But you know why he popped and why Kanye was willing to give him like a sideward quick 1 minute of fame, because he sounded like Future.
right.
That's how he got over. Where is he now? Have you heard the most recent Designer record? I have. It's ass.
Oh,
He's probably sitting in a mansion somewhere though now,
Oh,
off of
you
that little
think
bit of,
so? You think
little
so?
tiny bit of success, right?
Well, actually, no. Designer did not make any money with good music.
Oh,
hmm.
No, no, he made no money with. Okay, no. Just so you know, Designer's not
Wow.
popping. He may have gotten some chains, but that money he made through doing shows.
Right.
He made that money through shows,
Yeah.
but he didn't make no money through good music. Kanye has
Yeah.
a very, very well-known and well-deserved history for not paying people well.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that's not news at all.
That's, you know what? That to me, when I hear of a businessman or a woman who doesn't pay people, and it's not just one person, it's like, I just don't pay. I might pay you a little bit, but you're not going to get your invoice paid up. That always shocks me because they're still in business. They're still relevant. That, right? It's
Yeah.
like Trump. The amount of cases behind Trump where he's built something and, the people come back like, yeah, we got laborers you got to pay. It's like, yeah, I'll get to you when I get to you. I'm president. See you later, suckers.
Yeah.
But Jello, listen, I got to ask you the question though. What do you think artists, like, what is their actual business? Like, what are they really selling?
Content.
Content, okay.
Hmm.
Content in what sense?
Well, actually, they're selling content and they're selling a lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, truthfully, content and a lifestyle. Content because we're surrounded by it everywhere. You can't. Let's be honest.
Right.
We're surrounded by content, and there's so much content out there. It's like, how do I sift through all the content to something that I can dig? And lifestyle. Have you looked at TikTok or lately?
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do a music video. You know why?
Why?
Because that's what's being sold to them.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We were all trying to do a music video back in the day. Still,
Yeah. Hey,
we just didn't have
know.
social media.
we had answering machines with some pretty detailed productions.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It was like, okay, wait, go now. It's like, yo,
Take you a half hour
Sean,
just to do your. Take you a half
I'm not
hour
home
to do
right
your
now.
greeting.
I'm not home right now, but if you want to leave a message for me, leave it
Music in the background, Sean.
at the tone. whatever, or it'd be like some slow jams or something going
Slow
on.
jam. I think I had one where the squad was at my place and were trying to help me do an answer machine. Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
I remember that.
Oh,
I'm
of
like,
course.
The whole crew.
you know, and I remember you're outside somewhere, like pull apart, and you're like, I wonder if anyone called me. And then you call your house, listen to the answer
To
machine.
listen to your own greeting.
Rewind. Oh no. And one of the funnest parts, man, of having an answer machine is when you got a call from like that girl or a job interview, you know? You're like, oh man, okay, rewind. But my neighbor, one of my fondest memories of having an answering machine, man, was my neighbor was Jonas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yo, Jonas,
Jonas, if you're
damn.
listening, I'm blowing you up right
What?
now, man.
Yo,
We
haven't
used
heard
to
that name.
call listen, this guy would do impressions.
I didn't know that Jonas did
Oh
impressions.
man. Jonas would do
What?
impressions of mobsters,
Oh my God.
impressions of something, right? And then he's like, hey Johnny, it's your Uncle Lou. And I'm like, oh my. And it's a 5 minute, like a 5 minute answering, like a 5 minute message. And he's like having a conversation with me through the answer machine. Listen,
Oh,
I don't appreciate that, okay? If I come to your house, you give me what I want. And I'm like, you need to be on stage, brother.
yeah.
But the reason I asked that question about what kind of music are they into, is I have my thought on what kind of music or business they're into. And it's the same thing for athletes and actors. I think when it comes to the music industry, they're in the business of emotional audio conducting. Emotional audio conducting. In other words, the when you listen to music, it causes an emotion, right? It creates an emotive element, essentially. I had to use that word, courtesy of my friend Derek Ramos. Right? Like emotive, basically.
What?
Yeah.
Is that where it belongs?
Hold up. Pause. Okay, you cannot just say that and not unwrap that a little bit. Okay.
What is that about?
You just can't just say that and not unwrap that. Okay.
Derek Ramos. Oh, you know Derek. Yeah.
Of
Oh, yeah.
course. Be nice.
Be smooth. It's actually something I read a long time ago. It was emotive elements, and it's essentially, you know, the emotional aspects of whatever you're doing. It has certain things that will speak to somebody in an emotional manner. So when it comes to music, it's really, that's all it's doing, is that they are conducting us, you know, to have certain emotions. And music is that emotive, powerful element that we are always surrounded by. There is music that you listen to that will cause you to do what? To dance. There's music that'll cause you to run faster, right?
Yeah.
There's music that'll cause you to what? Have sex. Like, for almost any verb or activity or action, there's a music that will cause a human being to have the motivation and inspiration to get up and do it, right? Like, you're crazy right now. All right, we're gonna put on this one song.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I will say this, man. One of the people that are like, they are psychologists. They just don't get the credit for it. Are DJs.
Right.
They are psychologists, but they don't get the credit for it.
We've been knowing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll put on 3 tracks that'll make you lose your mind and get the courage without alcohol to talk to that girl. Guaranteed.
Right.
Guaranteed. And they're like, okay, this one, and then they'll start mixing it in. And if you remember the old school DJs, they would mix in a song, right? Like, they'll give you that hint, this is coming.
Tease, yeah, you get a tease.
Yeah. And I remember me and the squad, we'd hear something from you know who, Wu-Tang. and we'd
Yeah.
all lose our minds.
Start
Hey,
slapping the wall. Start slapping the wall.
quick,
That's not
quick.
in the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. It was,
Punching people because I was dancing so wild. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah. It's
At
crazy the
whispers.
power of music, man. The power of music. On that Wu-Tang note too, I actually saw something recently. I think it was on Drink Champs. Um, but um Wyclef actually, there's all these little tidbits, man, that you don't hear about. I'm gonna try to make this short as possible, but that story, Wyclef had a story on there when he talked about, because he was a Wu Tang fan. When he did that song with Carlos Santana, did you see this one, Jello?
Yeah.
And he talked
We're just
about,
talking about Maria Maria.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was like, because he worked it in. I only realized that like when I listened to that podcast, I was like, what? And if you hear like the guitar in that,
Yeah.
like in this guitar solo, the guitar solo is ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding ding
Yeah.
ding ding, like, and he's like, I was like, I never realized that years ago. I was just like, okay, this is like, is it dun, 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 dun. You just kind of mix it up a little bit, but it was like
Yeah,
Wu
man.
Tang in Carlos Santana, produced
Wow.
by Wyclef. Like, it was crazy, man.
Well, yo,
I just
that's very similar to Tribe's award tour.
hmm,
Shout out award tour.
mm,
You
yeah.
like that brand placement there. Um, yeah, like look, he made the beat for award tour because he fell in love with Jade's "Don't Walk Away."
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Listen to the first 4 to 8 bars of "Don't Walk Away," then listen to award tour.
Okay.
He straight up said, "Yo, award tour became because he loved Jade's "Don't Walk Away."
Wow. That's just crazy, like that power of music, man. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
man.
again, my button, that could be a whole nother topic.
A whole lot topic.
But the power of music, I someone said the other day, again, I listen to a lot of podcasts and things online and whatever, but I think it was Bill Bellamy. He's a great storyteller, by the way, if you guys follow his Instagram. Bill Bellamy, the comedian, he was on MTV back in the day too. Anyways, he was talking about, he said how he started a story, and he was said, and I was just cleaning around the house listening to this, right? And he said something about he was hosting a tour in LA. He's hosting a concert for All in the Same Gang, right? And just, it's just crazy. It's almost like hypnotism, man, because in my head I was just like, All in the Same Gang, I remember. And I was like, I haven't heard of the the track that was like the All in the Same Gang track with all the rappers on it. I haven't heard that for years, man. But in my head, I was like, all of a sudden, brothers, killing other brothers.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
the
yeah.
object was to love one another. I'm like, how do I remember these lyrics from like decades ago? I never said, like, it just popped in my. You say those words, All in the Same Gang. All of a sudden, the song is done, dun 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 dun. I'm like, I'm taken back to that time. I'm taken back
Yeah.
to like seeing the video, seeing it live on Arsenio, like all the rappers and me. I'm like, oh, so and so, oh, so and so. Like,
And
it
I
just takes you back instantly, man. It's just like, whatever you're doing, music has that power. And right now, specifically, like if we're talking about hip hop music, just because we grew up with it, has that power to just like transport you and like remind you of things, and like even just remind you of what you were doing with that. I mean, I guess you could arguably say any music, but for me personally, it's that hip hop music. Like a song comes on, I was like, oh, I remember, yeah, man, we were out at this place, we were at this spot, we were at this social. Me and John were chilling in the corner. This song came on, and yeah, so and so else
yeah.
was there, and this happened that night, and it's just like, it just triggers, right? Like, I think there's even, I know I was looking for a while, never went that route, but at some point, I think, Angelo, even at UW, I was like, I don't think it wasn't as big then, but I was like, when I trying to figure out what to do with my life, not that I have it, I don't think anybody has it all together, but whatever. I was like, oh, there's like, there's speech therapy, and I looked up something. I think there's like music therapy. They were talking about music therapy. I think it's a lot bigger now, but I was like, man, if like music therapy can like, that whole thing can like help jog people's memories, help them feel better, improve their again, we sort of joked about mental health at the beginning of the pod, but like that's music is a serious thing for mental health, man. Like it's
Yo, I'm
crazy.
so glad that you said that, because that kind of ties in a little bit to what we've been saying about the the old head versus the new head debate. The reason why a lot of old heads will say that is not because they're hating. It's not because they're hating at all. It's because, what does the music from the 90s do for them? What does it bring back for them? Right? Like, and if you're Gen X, now, right? You're of a certain age.
Mhm.
So obviously, why would the old school be more of a thing for you now than the new shit? Think about it.
Right. Yeah, it's that power of music, right? It's just
Yeah,
that
it's not necessarily a hate. It's because, you hear that Wu-Tang joint, what does that bring it back to you? What does it remind you of? Who does that put you back in the company of for 3 minutes and 45 seconds?
Yeah.
And Jay, when you say that, I gotta say, then music is also in the business of transportation, because it can
takes you back.
takes you back,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, just as you were mentioning all this, guys, is I'm thinking also the power of branding.
Mhm.
If you are 64 and you hear that, you're like, yo, I heard that song 30 years ago from McDonald's. Like, boom. Right? Ford, Wendy's, like whatever brand has a song, right? It could be 3 seconds, it could be 1 second. Remember the one from PlayStation? That little thing, PlayStation. Remember that one?
Yeah. Yep.
I do remember I remember the McDonald's one though, and that one had a tie to, like, remember Justin Timberlake, and then like
Yeah, Justin. Yeah, that's
it was
what.
like, but it was like very like kind of like what I heard. There's like, I don't think it was a secret at that point. So I don't know if it got leaked or that's how it was supposed to be, but it was just like, hey, Justin Timberlake's making a song and it's gonna be kind of attached to the new McDonald's like slogan.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Dun, dun, dun. The song was all right,
Yeah.
but
But they took that and they wrapped it and just, like that was it. I'm loving it. And
yeah.
and I mean, I think right now I'm 47 and I'm trying to think of songs I heard 30 years ago when I was 17, right? Because I was just leaving, I was about to get out of high school, right? I can't remember anything right now, but I can tell you, if I hear it right now, I can tell you which company it belongs to.
Yeah.
Right. And the same thing for our kids, where they hear that song, they're like, I want to go to McDonald's. Why? Because that song. So imagine the money they pump in for branding, right? Because branding is recognition, right? And it's like, even if we don't have a special on, even if we don't have any kind of promotion, you hear that song and you're doing what? You're running. Taco Bell, run for the border. I heard that bell and I'm automatically hungry. I'm like, why?
It's
Right?
like the whole that Pavlov effect, right? Salivate with
Yeah.
the bell. Bung.
So,
And he
Sean, when Sean's talking about like music therapy, there's also maybe another major where it's like music branding, marketing, or something. Like that's all you focus on, is just that to drive people in. So you gotta think, man, like how companies making like billions of dollars selling hamburgers. How? Right? Maybe they enlist a guy like Jay Boogie who's like, yeah, I can tell you all the sequential, sounds that will really trigger someone's emotive element.
Yeah.
And they're
No,
like,
for real. That's real.
we'll
That's real. That's
yeah.
advertising. That's real. That's real.
Yeah. Right? So when you get like an engineer, so let's say Jay's an engineer, okay? And he's like, man, I eat, drink, sleep, bars, music, like percussions, this, I know it all. And I also know what sounds will make someone get out of their chair and go for a run.
Hmm.
There's actually a new thing now from Swiss Beats and Timberland. They collaborated to come together with, I think, some like their mixes or something. They have like
Are
a
they?
mix, a collection.
Yeah, are they doing? I think they're doing. Jill,
Peloton.
you're familiar with Peloton, right? You're
Peloton.
familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
they
Peloton.
partnered with Peloton.
right. Think about it. These are super producers. Their middle names are hits.
Hmm.
And the other middle name is more hits. And they come together, Peloton. They're like, man, listen, you've got a concentrated audience of bikers in North America and UK and wherever else. And they love what we produce. It's a wrap, like mic drop, right?
Yeah.
So these guys are thinking like way outside the box. And even a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when Dr. Dre had his beats, right, for $1 billion to
Apple.
was it Apple?
Yeah, it was through Apple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And it's like, hey, let's stop just rapping and producing music. No. Let's go into hardware. Hardware, yeah. Everyone knows you for one thing: good music. And I mean, the conversation can keep going on, right? Like, so we start going down the line of commerce, and you're thinking, wait a minute, guys, what if we had our own line of microphones?
Right.
For real.
And then
For
his
real.
name is right there. You know, whoever that, I'm not giving, any ideas here, but his name is right there. So every time you're rapping, man, or you're singing, you're thinking of the greatest. Like, imagine Prince had his own set of mics, that the branding power from that alone, because we always want to be associated with winners.
Right.
Yo, I'm so glad you brought that up. Urban Decay, which is a very well-known, makeup brand, they partnered with Prince's estate to release a limited edition Prince collection, Urban Decay and Prince. Yo, what? That's gonna sell like it's nobody's business.
It almost sells itself.
Yes, exactly.
And wait, what are they
Exactly.
doing with that?
They're doing a limited edition makeup line with Urban Decay and the Prince
Oh
estate.
wow.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
I
I'm
wonder if,
buying it from Michelle, yo.
Okay. Yeah, we had a guest on not too long ago. I think that she's in that industry.
Natasha.
Word.
I'm sure she's Natasha. I think she's probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Urban
she's
Decay.
in Toronto now, and we were talking about a bunch of stuff,
Shout outs.
right? So
Yeah, I heard it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all know I listen. Come on now.
But you know what, man? I gotta say, business, is one of the forces that keeps the earth moving on its axis.
Oh yeah.
Because it's all about transactions, right?
Yes.
But how do I get more transactions, faster transactions, repeatable transactions from one single customer?
Yeah.
And then that one customer does what? The magic thing: refer me to other people in my circle.
Exactly.
And they all trust Jay Boogie. So if Jay Boogie has like 500 trusted friends, those 500 have another 500.
Exactly.
Right? So next thing you know, man, you have like 3% of the planet buying this product. And they're like, yeah, all because of this guy. Power, man.
For real.
Listen, man, I just wanted to ask you a question here, because I just need to know from your perspective. But in terms of influences, I just want to switch gears a little bit here. But in terms of influences, whether it be a group or an artist, who's like the biggest influence in your life, even to where you are today?
In terms of artists?
In terms of artists.
Prince is an obvious one.
Well, I should have known that one.
But for a myriad of reasons. He was very open-minded. We may not agree on, it's not like we know each other or anything, so I don't have to agree with any of his personal beliefs. You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
gotta love the music, right? But
Yeah.
he helped me embrace, because when I was younger, I kind of was like digging all types of sound. You know what I mean? Like, even though I knew what type of sound spoke to me the most, it's always been black music, but I still would like pay attention to like other things, you know what I'm saying? And listening to Prince's music made me, it almost validated the fact that, oh, yo, yeah, I should keep listening to other types of music because it helps inform how I listen to music. And because I love music that much, I definitely want to be informed about what I'm listening to, how I'm listening to it, and why I'm listening to it. Oh,
Yeah.
I dig this because I also dig that. And it turns out this person's influenced by that same thing I dig. Like,
Right.
I like to dissect music like that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not
Mm.
the average listener, but you know what
No,
I
you're
mean?
not.
So
You're not.
That's why we got you on the podcast, man, because
No, you're not.
we don't want average. We don't want average. We want something a little different than average.
PE was a huge influence
Mm.
because it helped open up my mind to other political ways of thinking.
Can you just open up what PE is for those
Yes,
that don't know?
definitely. Public Enemy.
Thank you, sir.
I thought maybe you were
Public,
talking about physical education and
yeah, physical
the
education.
gym.
Shout out, Mr.
You know
Hudson.
that's what Sean was saying. He's like, great Chairman, I gotta go to PE class, man. I'm late. 10 push-ups. Oh, yeah,
For real though.
PE.
They,
I thoroughly agree.
they,
Yeah.
yes, they opened up my mind to new ways of thinking and new ways of looking at things. It opened up my brain to reading a ton more. I discovered so many unbelievable philosophies, ways of understanding because of Public Enemy. They made me open up my mind, man. Yo, would I've ever read The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon had it not been for Public Enemy?
Hmm.
Would I even know who Frantz Fanon was?
Yeah.
Would I have ever have read the autobiography had it not been for Public Enemy? Would I even know who Malcolm Little was had it not been for Public Enemy? Would I have known about Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, and the Black Panthers had it not been for Public Enemy? And then what did that do? What did that do? It made me start to look at the society and the culture that I live in.
Yeah.
Yo.
Music is, again, that power of music, man.
Yes,
not
man.
not even just reminiscing, but like, yeah, you could bring some good points, John, with that question. That question is like on point, and Angela, your answer with that too is just like, man, like we just start realizing like it's not even just memories and bringing you back places. It's also like music can influence people's whole lives, like going forward too, like forward and back. So like you said, John, when you're talking about transportation, it's like backwards and forwards. Like that
And
can
forwards.
music can motivate you. It can help you, like, again, like you're talking about those kind of artists, and even for me, like seeing like those kind of artists, as well as like the artists, like, the whole native tongues kind of thing when they came through, and made their mark, and other artists that they influence, right? Like if you got like De La Soul and the Jungle Brothers, and
Yeah.
other artists that were probably influenced by them, like Mos Def, even you're talking about, right? And like that, where they were able to just be like different and still like creative
Express
and still,
themselves
yeah,
outside
exactly,
of the box that's expected.
exactly.
No, Showtime. So Jay, thank you for that. Maybe you can expand, Showtime, and tell me who influenced you, whether it be a group or an artist. That I mean,
Yeah.
I would even give you a little more and say like who impacted your life, and maybe who you are today.
Mm. Yeah, I would say, like again, sort of going along that same line there, I would say, in addition to like, yeah, the artist that Angela was kind of mentioning there about Public Enemy and so on, um, like I would also even go a little bit further to say like Public Enemy and those groups, as far as like the Native Tongues, like groups like artists like Most Def, um, like artists probably. I mean, I could name a ton of artists, but I also even want to say like the for me also like seeing like some of the producers in the game, right? Maybe they were some of them became artists later on. I would even say like, a lot of people like to get on Diddy's back or whatever, but I mean, he did some stuff for the
Yeah, he did.
culture,
He did.
right? If you want to, there's a lot of the glitz and the shiny suits and that. But before even getting to that point, um, I mean, just bringing like just hearing and seeing about like his work ethic and like getting to get getting himself to where he is now, right? And I know he's now more about the Ciroc and all that kind of stuff, but just saying like, hey, he has this young guy saying like, I'm gonna have my own like crew of artists, and it's gonna be like this and this, and I recognize this talent in that person, and so on, and I'm gonna make it all come together, and nothing's gonna stop me, right? That is, I think that influenced me, like and like Russell Simmons,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like Dr. Dre, even too, like seeing that those kind of people like bringing artists together, or like bringing like a dream plan of like they almost have their basically like they're like you're talking we always comes back to, and I didn't even think it was going to get to this when we were talking about on this podcast, but a common thing is business, right?
Mhm.
Like, so just motivating that, I find that's motivated me to like work on different projects like this podcast and like the R&R events kind of stuff, and that like where it's just like, hey, just do it. Like if you have a dream to do something, like try it out. Like,
Yes,
just
yes.
get on it and like roll with it, and you can always like you know you can always grab this person here and that person to like to help you to collaborate with people and say like, hey, I
Yep.
have this dream, like I want to do this, I want to do this I want to do this. Like I probably said this, and not to kind of blow my own horn here or whatever, but if I was talking about the R&R events thing, like, again, if somebody mentioned, hey, back in the day, you guys used to do these parties, it would be cool. Me thinking, yeah, it would be cool to do that again. And then thinking, like, well, what's stopping? Like, okay, what do I need to do this? Like,
Exactly.
who else can help with this? Right. Like, um, again, when it started up, like, shout out to Justin, um, and like Kai, and like for like just influencing that and like supporting it, like getting that, just helping it shoot off the ground, like just again collaborating with people and just knowing that you can make it happen and not just moving forward. That kind of stuff I find influenced me greatly.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
I'll be really quick on that one, man. Is obviously for me, my goat is definitely Big Daddy Kane.
Mm,
This guy just influenced me even to even get into rap personally.
mm, yeah.
And then I got guys like Heavy D. Being a big guy, I wasn't as big as Heavy D, but he was like he made being overweight sexy. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
No, no,
green.
no. No, you know what the funny thing is? I'm gonna take that further.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that further. Sorry to interrupt, homie.
no worries, no worries.
I'm gonna take that further and say, nah, you know what Hev did? You know what Hev did?
No,
Have made it okay for women to say, yo, yeah, I like big dudes. What?
right, right,
Yeah.
Let's be
Hmm.
honest, man. Like women
right.
like different flavors, dog.
Yeah,
And
Right.
have made it okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
To this
Yeah.
day, have probably like, man, still looking back then, and again, sorry to jump on this too again, John, I know this is your thing, but like man, that guy he was one just like smooth brother, man. Like
He
just this
was,
guy,
man.
like whether it was in the suit, like he could rock like everything from like the suit tie to just the collaborated outfit with like with sweats and a hat and whatever, like better than like somebody looking not to put down like LL or somebody like that, but he didn't have to be like this big chiseled whatever. Hev could be like hold his own like with those kind of like guys like that where they would look at him and women would look at that guy and say, oh, ladies love Cool J, and he's a 10 in a picture or whatever. Hev could be like stand beside him and be like, man, this guy is like, these guys are both 10s to women.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
and have reminded us it was still kind of okay to keep dancing.
yeah.
I mean, have man, because I was a big guy. I looked at him, man. I was like, whoa, and he could dance. He could dance. I was like,
oh yeah, he could.
Queen Latifah. I was in love with Queen Latifah for years, man.
Oh,
just that thickness, man. Oh my goodness. But something happened, man. I got divorced, I think in 2007, and it was a dark time, man. And still into the music and all that. But then there's a song from Nas came out with his album Hip Hop Is Dead, and I was like, yeah, it is dead. So I was listening to it, and there was a song with him and Kanye. So I'm going through this dark time, and divorce also means, right?
Yeah, man.
Some of your assets and your paper are gonna go
to
the other party. So I'm listening to this thing, and he has this song with Nas. So Nas and Kanye have the song, and starts off with, he pulled up at 6:30 in a 745. Right there, you got my attention. He pulled up at Jay. He pulled up at 6:30 in a 745. You know what that means? Turn everything off and go to bed.
That's one of those pull the car over moments.
Yeah,
you're talking about earlier.
Right.
That's one of those stop, hold up.
And then he says, y'all be going through problems. You gotta work the kinks out. When you go to sleep, what do you think about? Yeah, think about, not think about. What do you think about? If y'all get a divorce, she gonna take everything except the kitchen sink out. And I was like, boom. If y'all go through a divorce, she's gonna take everything except the kitchen sink out. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm listening to this, man. I'm just like, and then he goes on, he's like, make it so cold that you gotta get your mink out. Or grab your roller skates and turn the roller rink out. And I'm like, who is this guy? And right there, man, Kanye was like my therapist.
Yeah.
Kanye, because no friend of mine was going through this, was talking about this. I almost feel like, Sean, in the whole squad, I felt like I was going through a lot of things first.
Yeah.
Right? Had my own place first, had my first car first, had my first divorce, had a divorce first.
Oh, yo, that's kind of so
right? I was like, am I like the scapegoat or like the teacher?
You're the early adopter.
Right?
You're the early adopter.
The test subject kind of.
Right. So I'm going through this, man, and there's no one I can talk to about this. And Kanye says this stuff, man, and right there, man, I go from Kwame to Kwame. as in Kwame West and Kanye West.
I thought you were gonna say you were rocking the polka dots.
No, man.
No.
I never really knew that guy, by the way. I never really got to know that guy, but I always just heard him from one of Biggie's songs. But I remember him a little bit in the 90s, but nothing really big. But the point is, man, like music also has therapeutic healing qualities.
Oh yeah.
That, man, it was almost like I didn't want advice. I just wanted someone to understand what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And although I never called Kanye and be like, yeah, man, she took everything except the kitchen sink out. It wasn't that. It was like just someone acknowledging what I'm going through was enough. So I
Right.
started dressing up, like wearing like jackets, like this is Kwame
Oh
West time now.
man,
And
I remember you started like I'm like, yo man, what's with the scarf, man? Like
yeah,
because
I was like,
Kanye used
you
to do
have to
the
just
scarf.
start.
It's not cold outside, John. What do you? I know we
I
live
went
in
to the
Winnipeg
car.
now, but
I went to
the
Kanye
scarf
came to
up.
Winnipeg twice, and I had to go to both of them. Like that's how
Of
serious it
course.
was.
Yeah, of
But I
course.
went. I went to one concert with a scarf on, with glasses and a hat and a jacket, and it was like July, right? I'm like this is the vibe, bro.
Plus
This is
35.
You never meet
for
me?
everybody. For everybody who doesn't know, Winnipeg is cold, but it's not that cold. Like we get the
No,
extreme. So that's the
Hell
you can
yeah.
get like minus 35 in January, but yeah, in July it's like
Plus
plus
40 in
35.
July.
last week in July, but you know it was so cold, man. But I remember I was actually in career-wise, project management was my thing. And I was like, man, I just want to be a project manager for Kanye West. How do I get to LA or wherever he is? And that was all I was thinking. Um, but I just had to say, man, like music is that powerful. But there's also, another question. Sorry for to hog the question time here. But Jello and Sean, like, what are some negative aspects or influences of music that you're like, ooh, right? Because now we all have kids like that you're like,
Oh,
right? Like, talk to me about that piece, please.
oh yeah, for sure. Showtime. Go ahead.
Yeah, negative aspects of music. I mean, again, um, Angelo brought this to kind of light with, I guess, stopping and pausing for a while, thinking that all our music was not all positive either. So, sometimes I take it with a grain of salt when I hear stuff like what is I'm gonna think of the name of that song now that has an acronym. It's done by a few ladies of hip hop. Currently, one of them
Mm,
is
yes.
Cardi B.
Okay. Oh, okay, 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 okay.
You know which one I'm talking
Of
about?
course, of course, of course.
John, you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, for
Well,
real?
anyways,
Okay.
it's called WAP.
It's called WAP.
You could look at I don't know. We should say it out. Whatever. We're all
It
adults, but
stands for wet AP. And you can assume what A and P are.
Done.
Yeah.
mhm, right. So that song, like that kind of stuff, I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't want my daughter like loving up that song, but you know, again, thinking back, I know that received a lot of backlash, and curiously as well, it's almost like, again, I know it's a different time, but some maybe the different. It would be interesting if we had another person, female, on here to get their perspective. But a lot of women seem to look like at that as an empowerment type of song. I don't know, but I wouldn't feel that's maybe if you're talking about a negative thing where it's like that was around, but even if you're looking at like I don't know, again, it was different in our era with Foxy Browns and Little Kims. Maybe they were saying the same thing. Maybe they were. I don't know, but I like to think maybe it's a little bit of a a clouded memory if you want to talk about it like that they were maybe they had other things to say as well as the similar kind of stuff. Like I don't know if there was also a more lyrical component to stuff, but again, I don't know if I'm looking at Angela. I don't know if Angela really agrees. Maybe I'm making this up in my head and saying like, yeah, no, Lil Kim was conscious. She was.
Hmm.
I know it. There's got to be a song. There's got to be a lyric somewhere that I could just think of it. Let me get back. Let me get back to you. But then there was Foxy Brown. No, well, No, she said that. No, she didn't say that. That wasn't her. Oh,
No, I've got
but
an easy response to that, Yoga.
hmm,
So after the last verses, which was SWV versus Escape, how'd you guys
mhm.
like that one, by the way? You guys dig that one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
I liked it. I liked it, man. I don't know if you
Guam.
caught that at all. I didn't
yeah,
catch all of it. I'm gonna catch the whole replay though.
yeah.
But when I saw it,
Um,
like, just I'm loving the verses, man.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
I'm thinking about, there are some songs where there's a lyric or a title and it's just used everywhere, right? One was Keith Sweat, like just the name Keith Sweat. I can make you sweat like Keith Sweat, right? But then it was SWV, making you weak in the knees. Oh, used everywhere, right? Um, you know what, man? Just this whole, like, the negative side of hip hop is also a really powerful piece because um, there are some songs you don't want your mom or your parents or your grandma, like, even coming by your room. What? Get out of this house kind of music. Don't come back until you get some proper, right?
Right.
And I mean, I've changed my genre heavily, changed heavily. So
Right.
I like a lot of gospel hip hop. Yeah, it may sound like an oxymoron, but trust me, some fire guys in there, man, that my
Right.
wife will listen to, my daughter's in the back listening, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to like turn it down or skip. But there is like some artists back in the day, man, that I'm like Two Live Crew. I can't even tell you one song that I remember. Like, that's how far off from my value chain that they belong. I'm like, I remember one. I remember one, and this was like I can't say it here, but it was like, hey, we want some
Well, yeah,
food.
a very well known. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, that was your anthem.
I'm not understanding. What was the last word of that?
Yeah, it says, hey, we want
Can you
some peanut butter and
Power. We
jelly.
want some
power?
power.
Yeah, want some
Power.
power. Hey, we want some power. And I mean,
Another conscious group you
another,
were talking about, very well known.
and I mean, that's where it started, right? Like, sad to say, there are some people in certain communities when they hear Two Live Crew, they will say, see, they're all miscreants, they're all delinquents. If they look like this, no, like, lady, your
So was
son
that
now loves this music. Just letting you
so?
know.
So would you say that was your negative hip hop thing? Or is that what you're talking about? Is
Oh, it's one of
that what
them.
you're
It's
saying?
one of them. I mean, I think my negative hip hop was just like, as much as I loved Wu Tang, when I got dehypnotized from Wu Tang, I started doing some background work, and Wu Tang had like some um, some very ungodly stuff. They have a video of um, I don't like the depiction that they put, but it's like this tower,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this guy who's supposed to be Jesus, right? He's the European Jesus, and he's in the tower, and the Wu symbol goes and chops his head off. His head off. I was like, "You guys believe in that kind of?" I was like speechless, right? And this was a group that blew my brain.
Which video was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Another one was also about Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, super powerful group, man. But they had like videos about death
Yeah.
and like angels, and it's kind of like when you do deeper digging into, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I mean, yeah, it's all depends, and especially if you are taking a different route, or I mean, you're taking you're deciding you're gonna take that more of a religious journey, then you might find that there's not a lot of that there's less of that music that fits in with your beliefs, right? So
Yeah,
that's I mean that's respected. It's not everybody. I mean, for myself,
Yeah,
I may not
it's
have the
not.
same beliefs, but I can respect that though. I can
Yeah, it's
respect
not. It's not religious. It's not religious. It's just it's my spiritual beliefs. And
right.
there was some, there was some like music that I used to look at and just, I was always like, hypnotized by the lyricism. Someone like Foxy Brown. Because I heard she was like partially deaf. Did you guys hear about that? She was partially deaf
I
Yeah,
think
she's
she
partially
was,
deaf in one ear.
in one ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
but that was more of a recent happening, right? I don't think when she was
Yeah, that
rapping
was
there was
more
that.
recent. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah, it
heard
was a
that.
little more recent.
I heard that a long time ago. Like,
Like maybe in like when I say recent, probably like even like 10 years ago or something like
Yeah,
that.
because
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like like when she went in, I think when she went in is when it became more public knowledge that she was
Okay.
deaf in one ear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm always impressed by the lyricism, man. Like the practice, the how they're changing as artists, how they're able to do different techniques. Always impressed me. And whenever I heard the really advanced artists, I would literally stop rapping because I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like that's my competition. Stop. It's like you're a basketball
So
player and you
this,
find out. It's like you're a basketball player and you find out Michael Jordan's your competition. You're like, what am I doing? Just
right?
yeah, like
Yeah. So
just
definitely,
so advanced, so advanced. Go
there's
ahead, Sean.
definitely a lot of yeah, there's a lot of positive and some negative influences. I guess, like we said, there's a lot of power power in the music.
A lot of power.
And I think we got like a
Fellas,
lot of good. Go
fellas,
ahead.
man, I'd like to offer something regarding negativity in music in general.
Okay.
It's decades old
Yeah.
from time, and it's not genre specific. But one thing that I think is often overlooked is that typically music has been used art in general, just historically has been used as a means to further a political agenda. And
Mhm.
throughout history, for the most part, especially in North America, music has always been a scapegoat to further someone else's political agenda.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a
For real.
series.
Like
There's,
I'm like straight up with you right now.
right. I think especially, man, this could be. Where's that button?
Yeah.
Could be a whole nother topic. I
Yes,
gotta
man.
seriously. I gotta get that on a. If I get a mixer or something like that, I get that. But yeah, no, I hear you, Angelo, because
Yeah,
I
man. For
saw
real.
something. I'm actually looking forward to, and I would plug this. I'm not obviously getting any. Wish we were getting some money for this, but plugging this because I saw it on. I don't know if anybody else subscribes to Apple TV or not, but they have a something coming up. I think it's like May 21st or something like that. A series about music. It's like in the 70s. If you get a chance, Jello, you say you
Yeah, I'll
subscribe
peep
to it,
it.
but
Yeah, I'll peep it.
it's like a whole. I'm looking forward to it. It's like a documentary about music in the 70s and how it changed things and how artists, whether it was like if it was the times that were influencing the artists or the artists influencing the
Hmm.
times. And like they had like everyone from like James Brown, Bob Dylan, like these huge artists um that they like they have clips and interview them and just talk about like again who was influencing who and like
Yeah,
politics and
man.
getting involved and all
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Like we might even be coming to uh, I mean it would be really interesting to see and hear if we're maybe coming to something else like that because we're going through it's not the same as like hey we didn't just World War II didn't just end but we've been through some like major
Upheaval.
global yeah.
Upheaval.
Oh yeah, so I wonder if not that I appreciate not that I like that we've gone what we've gone through in the past from 2020 and this year still with this whole global pandemic and everything going on and even just huge events happening but I mean, I guess that's life, right? And it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, are we gonna get some we're gonna get some fire music out of this? Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Is it are there gonna be some
Yeah.
like because of all the emotions and stuff like that that have
Well,
gone
there's
through?
been
Like
some
some
fire
artists
music.
are.
there's been some fire music coming out about how people are feeling over this pandemic. I can't even like, and that list goes on. But if we want a point of reference, if y'all like throw it out there, point of reference, everyone listen to the Judas and Judas and Messiah soundtrack. Go listen to it. That speaks to 2020 like nothing. And that's a major label release in a very well-known brand and a very well-known movie. Like, if you want proof positive that music's out there, that album, that soundtrack right there, that's 2020 right there. And then the list goes on. Like, honestly, there's a lot of music that have come out in the last year that definitely speaks to what's been happening in the last 2 years.
I always look at, you know, what's happening in the world as it's not just one layer, right? There's multiple layers behind it. No matter your belief system, like a fact is a fact. And, things are motivated a lot of times by money, by power, by control.
Oh yeah.
Right. And we live in this world, man, where if I own something, if I own a company and I'm like, man, I need to influence young people to do this, who am I going to talk to?
Because it'll help me make money.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, who am I going to talk to? I'm going to talk to the people or persons who the young people are listening to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And social media has been great to help me quantify and really see, oh, you got 20 million users or subscribers? You got 50 million? Okay, so you're going to charge me a lot more, and you will too. But these little ones here, not as much. But guess what? If I think back to like 1992, maybe, or thereabouts, Snoop Dogg had a song, and he talked about one alcohol brand. Think back to that alcohol brand. Tanqueray.
And look how much Tanqueray sold in Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was drinking it. Everyone was drinking it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, to this day, hey, I like to enjoy a beverage once in a while. And but Snoop, I gotta say, Snoop probably put me on to that even Biggie reference, like gin and stuff like that. And right now, I'm like, hey, if I have a drink, anybody out there, if you see me out after this pandemic is over somewhere, gin is my drink of choice. If you're talking the hard stuff, yeah, man.
What he means is a double GNT.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Actually, Sean's was there pineapple involved somewhere?
What?
Hey, gin and juice, man. Gin and juice.
No. But
pineapple.
You had one
Malibu?
drink you liked. There was a drink, Sean, you liked, and you always ordered it. Always ordered it.
I can't remember.
Malibu pineapple.
I like those back in the day. We need to do one on back in the day drinks. Can I get a silver cloud? You can imagine going to order that at the bar right now?
Oh my God!
Actually, I remember I went to the.
Can I get an Alabama Slammer?
They look at you like, huh?
I think we're at Earl's Pull Park, and we're with Will.
Gin and ginger is what I drink now.
I was like, that's it, gin and ginger.
Gin and ginger.
And I got laughed at by the whole squad, man.
What did you ask for?
Because I asked for eczema or something. Eczema or
you asked for eczema? Damn, dog.
No.
Why you want your skin irritated like that?
Eczema. I know what eczema is. You know what I mean? It was some drink company that went out of business. And I was off the grid from the squad off the grid from scene. So we went to Earl's Polo Park.
Wait. Was this Earl's Polo Park or was this like it wasn't in Minneapolis, right? Maybe
no.
I'm thinking of. Okay.
But we went there and I was like, can I have they're out of business, right? They're out of business, like gone.
Did you ask for a 40 of OE?
I don't think we had that in Winnipeg, actually.
What can I get you? Can I get you guys wine? Do you have any 40s of old English?
But
like a glass of that? No, paper bag, please.
I forgot which one it was. But actually, me and Mo and Daryl went to Grand Forks, and I think I was the oldest. I think I was 19, maybe 20, and we rented a Bonneville, Pontiac Bonneville. And we got to the border, and we got to one of the liquor stores, and we're like, yo, we got to get OE. Why? Because all the rap songs are telling us to get OE.
Yeah.
So we got like 2 cases, right?
Cases.
Or 1 case. Like, it's like 12 in each or 6 in each. I get
That's
to
a
the
lot
cash
of
register. It is, right?
Oh.
Hey, we're businessmen. We come back, double our money. So we get to the cash register, and they're like, can I see your ID? And the US, the legal age is 21, not 19 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they said, no, you can't get it. So we're like, all right. We get back in our car, and I think they looked at our plates. When we got to the border, they checked us out, like, park your car in the garage.
Right.
Like, drug sniffing dogs came out and sniffed both Daryl and Mo, and we're freaking out. Freaking out. So,
brother, I gotta say, I don't know if that was your plates or I think that was
nothing happened.
Was a little bit
got
of
back in the car, and we just maybe.
I don't think it was because you were from Manitoba.
But
they're Manitobans.
We're just traumatized.
That's another reason, actually.
Traumatized, man. Like, you know.
I'm pretty sure. John Kwame Baffy. Yeah, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Moneo. How do you say this last name?
You gotta say
all
that.
you guys out of the car.
I think every time I get to the border, I'm nervous. Yeah. Every single time.
Well, yeah, man. That's
every single time.
Yeah, because when you get to the border, they pull you over and they're like, well, hello, gentlemen. Looks at all 3 of you. Hello, gentlemen. I seem to notice you seem to have a little more melanin than I do today.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Every single time.
And on top of that, like you said, I mean, hey, to break it down, you guys are 3 young black guys in a rented car at the time, like brand new, whatever the year was.
Yeah.
Probably like shiny, brand new vehicle.
Yeah.
What are you guys down there for? What are you guys just down there? Oh, we just went down to just, hang out, chill, hang out, eh? Get out of the car.
Yeah.
Black teenagers, 3 black teenagers just.
So you just
in this car. Is this your
car and just drive south, just to hang out? Get out the car. Mm-hmm. So this will happen so often, man, where I just didn't know what to say anymore. So now I'm in Toronto, and when I'm traveling to the US, I'm still nervous coming in or going out. So I say all the things, yes, no. What do? I tell them passport.
Yep.
So, what? What'd you say? Go. Okay. And
yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm so used to getting stopped.
Make it easy. Yeah.
I'm so used to getting stopped.
Right.
And
you guys, you know what? I hate to kind of cut it short, but I got a few things to do too. So
listen, Jello, listen.
We can always continue. We're good.
Yeah. This was tremendous. Everybody, I know this kind of turned into like almost like a catching up party. But I mean, every week, man, it's a catch-up party for Sean, for Showtime and I. Every week, because we don't live in the same city anymore, right? So I can't just drop by his house anymore and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're good. We're good to go. And Sean, last thoughts.